Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So this is a true first look. This game just released in the last 12 hours actually, probably 6 hours honestly. Woke up this morning and saw it. This has been one of the things on my wish list that I have talked about, that I have a short list of things that I am waiting for them to come out because they've just really caught my attention. So as you can see, it's Memoriapolis. It is an early access game. Right now it's 15% off introductory. It still puts it a little bit above $20. So a little bit more than I would normally look at for something that I've just never seen. But the most intriguing thing with this is that it has new gameplay mechanics, in that it says it's a city builder. So we basically, overall, once the game is complete, we'll go through 4 ages, starting from antiquity. But you don't actually specifically build the city. You have an urban planner that does a lot of the layout for you. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but it's really a newer type of gameplay mechanic. You can see very clearly, well, at least to me, it might be really small depending on what device you're looking at. It's beta version 0.214.131. Gone ahead and turn music off because I've started getting flagged by YouTube just for background music for other things. So I've turned the music off because I actually got flagged by YouTube on a video I put up months ago on Bus Simulator. When I tried that suddenly I'm getting a flag for using copyrighted music. And so it's just the background music in games. So I think my habit is just going to be going forward, which I think I've seen a lot of YouTube creators do, and now I understand why, is just turn off background music. I get that takes away some of the ambiance and doesn't let you experience things, but to avoid problems with YouTube, I don't really have much of a choice. And I'm not at a point yet where I can really use any kind of background music and add it in. And if people start asking for it, maybe I'll look at it a little bit. I know Amazon does some free things, and I've done that before, but obviously that creates some challenges in editing if I'm going ahead and then trying to add in music after the fact. So let's go look at the tutorial and see how this operates, and that may be what we do here in the beginning. So I have been told through some of the quick comments that I looked at from people who have already posted, and most people have, 3 hours, 4 hours in the game, so not a whole lot, but they said it's essential that you read all the text information or you're not going to have any idea what's happening or how to do things. So let's see. Information's Introduction to Buildings. The town center marks the beginning of each age. Depending on its geographical position, it may offer easier access to various resources or a larger building area. Right, in-game help is what that does. Okay. Introduction to Buildings. In order to construct the buildings present in Memoriapolis, several prerequisites must be met. You'll have to unlock the building automatically upon entering the age, gained by choosing historical events or factions unlocked in the building tree. Have enough resources visible on the building card. This includes workers, a specific number of cycles, and more typical build resources. And it looks like we have 10-ish resources. Have enough space around the city. It is impossible to construct buildings on already existing infrastructure or certain biomes in the game. Right. The build menu is located at the bottom center of your screen. Click on the tab for the types of building you want to build, then on the map of the desired building. If you have enough resources, your mouse cursor will then transform into an outline of the building. Place the building on the ground where you want it. There are different environments that can hinder the development of the city. Some buildings even require certain specific environments to be built. For example, on the waterfront, In the event that a building cannot be placed, the reasons will be explained each time. All right, well, that sounds thorough. Okay, this is your very first town center. Select it. Click on the map to start building. All right, let's keep checking what we have here. Security area is a circular boundary around your city center. With a few exceptions, building beyond is forbidden. You can increase its size by improving the level of your city center or by building surveyors' cabins and wonders linked to it. So that's certainly going to be a crucial piece of understanding. Okay, your city is surrounded by an area outside which is prohibited to build with the exception of a few buildings. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't what I've already read. All right, so some of this is building another city center also increases this area. All right, so Chapter 1, a new home. This small unexplored land would be perfect to welcome you and your settlers. Here you'll find everything you need to survive, but first you must build your town center, which will mark the beginning of your reign. All right. So, obviously we don't want to, like, say, do something on the mountain. All right. So I'm looking, I see, it's like moving along the road. Okay, I think what it wants, yes, because it won't let me just make sure it won't let me, yes it won't. So it's going to force me to put it there. We can rotate, increase the angle, radius of action, let's see, like let's look at these. Okay, so high, medium, low for attraction. So all buildings and biomes produce attraction or perturbations. The citizens will come to build their homes as a priority where the attraction is highest. All right, and then radius of action. All right, so it's showing us that, and then resources. It's not giving us anything. All right, so it's like marked build the cities or select the city center. All right, so let me go back to attraction here. Click on this just to see. Okay, all buildings produce positive, negatives. City centers, ramparts, production, cultural, local, service buildings, and wonders. The stronger and more positive the attraction, the more likely residents are to come and build their homes there. To guide the development of your city, make sure to create attractive areas. Location attraction is visible from filters or at building placement. All right, so those are all key things. All right, so you can't like turn it off that I can see easily. Okay, do you want to build ancient camp here? Yes. All right. So now we need to finish the building, so it looks like it has a little bit of time. That's as far as I can zoom in. I can hold the mouse and do that so we can see some people. All right, we've got that. So we've got food, wood, and stone, so similar to a lot of games. And so this is kind of now, we're immediately seeing the aspect here that they've said is unique. Like, obviously I didn't place any of this information. I didn't tell it to build any buildings. It's just doing that on its own. And that will include placing roads, for example. So I didn't really pay attention if this road was there on its own. And that's one of the things that people have said, like, you cannot remove roads. And so it starts to give you some challenges there. But now let's see, Chapter 2, an attractive land. That's probably always an attractive land, so maybe I'll stop reading that. Citizens will prefer to settle in attractive locations, which you can visualize in a number of ways. If the attraction is too weak on your land and your neighborhoods are full, instead of building new housing, citizens will stop arriving in favor of wanderers who will have to be integrated into society. View the attraction in the filter at the top right of the screen. Okay, so we have that. Attraction filter, resources. Okay, so these are all the filters. Obviously we don't have, okay, so faction filter, but this doesn't tell us what these do yet. And then I guess, okay, so that's just feedback. So that's good to know. All right, so each chapter is its own thing, or each step is its own chapter, I should say. All right, the population is made up of citizens and wanderers, workers and wanderers. The workers correspond to around 20% of the citizens who arrive every cycle via migration. All right, so we've also missed a few things. Food production. So, you may gain citizens during specific historical events, but none will ever leave your city, with the exception of very rare incidents. They consume food every cycle. Workers are equal to 35% of your citizens. Okay, so there's a bit of a, or 33%. So the in-game help is different from the pop-up. Again, it's an early access game, but that's the first thing I've noticed that's off. This is the active part of citizens, which can be assigned to different tasks: harvesting or processing resources, construction and maintenance of buildings, and repairs. Farms are production buildings with specific behavior. They need a construction time and a certain number of workers. When they are built, it is possible to choose the number of fields the farm will have under its control, adding a certain number of workers to the total work. If a farm is upgraded by one or more levels, all fields under its influence will benefit from the upgrade. Fields produce food every cycle if they are functioning correctly. If the farm is paused or destroyed, all fields connected to it will stop production. It is not possible to add fields once the farm is built, but it is possible to destroy them individually to free up space. All right, so you're obviously encouraged to kind of do building right away. All right, Chapter 3, Mouths to Feed. Many settlers have joined your town. Now it's time to feed them, and the perfect building for the job is the farm. Certain workers will work there daily to ensure a regular yield. The eastern part of the city is a good place for workers to plant large fields without disturbing the city's development. Okay, so we're going to close this. We're going to go to production. All right, small farm. Now does it tell me? Because it needs 10 wood, 10 stone, 5 cycles, and it's going to be 6 workers. But where does it tell me about how many fields and so forth? And now I'm curious, the attraction. Okay, so there's no attraction with this. Alright, but it's influencing that. Alright, so let's see. This farm will produce between 5 and 5 fields. Well, okay, so I can't do anything beyond that type of thing. And it's only letting me build 1. Yes, it's only letting me build 1 right now. I'm sure that's partially because this is the tutorial. So I can't click out and have this go away. You have to actually click that again. Alright, and then I have to collect 50 food. We'll zoom in again. Alright, so now, let's see. Alright, WASD keys to move the camera. Can't do it by moving to the edges of the screen. Alright, so it looks like it takes 1, so... but this is once again, part of what has intrigued me and why I put it on the wish list. So there's a couple other things. There's a train, a game, an older one that I am interested in just when it goes on sale, that is on my wish list. And then I've got another new game that's coming out that is not specifically a city builder, but it looks very intriguing and very thorough to me in what their ambition is. All right, harvesting resources. On this island, there are 2 resources to harvest: wood and stone. These resources are not inexhaustible. There are many more in a traditional game, and they can be transformed with the corresponding buildings. All right, so they are mainly to build basic resources. Not all resources are unlocked at the start. Alright, so we've got wood, stone. I'm assuming that's like bronze or something. Gold, that's gold, so I'm not sure what that is. Gems of some sort, like cinder block wood. So I'm thinking these are productions you can fabricate and so forth. And then we talked about this, okay. Food is essential. City consumption exceeds city production. A solution is implemented, such as the purchase of food by trade routes. The city will gradually fall into a state of famine. Consequences will be a halted migration and a drop in satisfactions. So even though these are highlighting, like I can't click on them right now. Okay, producing wood. Wood is a very important and easily visible resource. Every tree produces a certain amount of wood, which is used in almost every building. Okay, normal trees found at the edge of the forest, which can be harvested by cutting camp to obtain wood. These trees can even be replanted in the Middle Ages with an exclusive building obtained thanks to the policy. Dense forest trees, which are often inside dense forests, are much taller and wider. It is impossible to build on these ancient trees, and they cannot be harvested by normal means. Alright, well that seems to be a bit interesting. Alright, so a cutting camp, cut trees to create wood. It wants to be there, so I'm not going to fight it. Okay, so estimation of resources close to the building. So I'm just curious, though. So 5,700 isn't honestly bad. Now, you know, I can get into the 65, 67, but even if I'm deep into the forest like this, you know, it's looking like 6,000 is kind of the biggest you can get, even if you have mainly forest. Produces 5 woods per cycle, so we're going to do that. Alright, the good news is 200 of 200. So I'm weighing some of the comments. Again, I didn't read all the comments because, as you would expect, they get a little repetitive. I'm assuming these are cycles are not years, but remain a measure of time spent. The maximum cycle is reached, a new age arises. Make sure you're ready. You can change the speed of the game. There are 3 speeds: pause, normal, accelerated. Note that in pause speed you can continue playing even if the cycles are no longer advancing. Okay. Raw materials. You'll need a variety of resources to expand and maintain your town. Wood is one of the most widely used resources and is in abundance nearby. A cutting camp set up in the forest south of the town would give us access to a large number of trees. So again, we've got, okay, so improved ancient camp improvement. Several cycles have passed, so we're on 82, and you now have enough citizens and resources in your warehouses to improve your town center. This upgrade will give you access to a larger building area. So that goes back to what I was starting to say, that I'm reacting a little bit to a few of the comments. One of them was, you have no warehouses. Well, clearly it says you have warehouses. So once again, maybe this person was just ignoring messages saying, oh, I know how these games work, and I go. But like, this clearly shows there's something. I get that you probably can't build more warehouses, so it will limit you. But in any event, we'll give you access to larger buildings. Before I click on that, because I am paused, I'm just going to kind of look around and get all the info we have. So city center upgrade. All city centers can be upgraded several times. To do so, an improvement cost and population prerequisites will be required, enabling the building of the area to be extended. Okay, and it provides advantages. A very large building area gives access to many reserves, which I assume are increased warehouses, allows the construction of ramparts, etc. In order to obtain higher benefits, you must improve the city center with a minimum number of citizens as well as specific resources. All right. And then up here, Chapter 5, Improve the Camp. It's time to harvest stone. And to do that, we need to reach the mountains. Improving the downtown area has several positive impacts, the main one being the increase in the safe zone. So we're going to select the center, click the upgrade button, wait for the upgrade to complete. All right. So that's the center. So there we go. It has an attraction of us. This camp symbolizes a new beginning. What will be your next actions? All right. So I see. So it says improvement. It says click on the upgrade button, but it's a little challenging because it's not called upgrade. Upgrade to improved ancient camp. Your city is going through cycles, and the citizens have organized themselves into various districts, each with its own objectives: food production, wood production, building creation, and maintenance. Everyone seems content with the current structure. And so the constraints are I need 30 people, where I have, 100, and then there's an upgrade cost. So, do you really want to upgrade ancient camp? Yes. All right. So it's going to take 5 cycles. Now, it wasn't entirely clear, like, what the expansion of the radius is, because this is the normal radius. And you can see we're getting more towns, or more buildings. So that would explain. All right. So it just gave us that same info. All right, the building tree. So this is a new button that showed up here. The building tree displays all unlocked and unlockable buildings in the game. Depending on the categories chosen, they could be sorted by level, culture, or even ages. In the game, information on buildings, their tools, their constraints, their positive and negative effects. It is thanks to this interface that new buildings can be purchased for plans, themselves obtained thanks to the architectural office. Okay, so increase your perimeter. Although the upgraded town center allows to extend the safety zone, it remains too small to reach the mountains and harvest stone. A surveyor's cabin to the north of town will enable us to extend the safety zone all the way to the mountains. All right, so I assume that's what we're going to need to go to here. All right, so production buildings. So it's showing us, I see food. So if I click on wood, it goes there. If I click there, it goes there. And then it looks like we can do some kind of a bonus. It actually won't let us see anything that we're not highlighting. Okay, proximity buildings have their own effect or impact on the area around them. They can be built at any age and don't get damaged when changing from one age to the other. Okay, the area around Surveyor's Cabin becomes buildable within a radius of 165 meters. Okay, Surveyor's Cabin must be placed outside the usual limitations set by the city. The gains, the area around Surveyor's Cabin becomes buildable. There's no attraction, has a radius of 50. Costs and constraints, maintenance. Okay, the number of units that can be built is limited by the level of the Antiquity City Center, and it must be placed on the periphery of the construction zone. And so I want to buy it. Are you sure you want to unlock this item? All right, then we close this and this, and now I have that ability. All right, so it wants us to go out there, open the building tree, open the proximity tab, unlock the proximity building, Surveyor's Cabin. All right, and the blueprints are here. They're extremely important. They are created by the Architect Office Production Building. All right, gold coins are trade routes. I was wondering if I could turn or something, but I can't. All right, so we're going to build. And so you can see, like, it created the road, connected it to the road. You know, the buildings, or the town continues to expand. We've got 22 citizens there, 36. Okay, so culture, there's no culture, no culture. Okay, hidden resources. As the game progresses, new resources may appear on the map. They can be collected from existing buildings or unlocked from new ones. Okay, some are visible. Stone and wood, but others are more discreet, like iron or clay. So iron, that might have been clay that I thought was something. In order to see all the resources, you can hover over the different resources at the top of your main screen next to your city crest. Other solutions are put in place to allow the observation, such as filters or during the construction of buildings. Okay, so there you go. So you can see, like, the mountains clearly change, and then if I do that, the green. All right, that's good to know. Okay, so workers, wanderers, and then gold coins factions' trade routes and political decrees. We're not there yet. Chapter 7, Recovering Stone. Part of the mountain is finally accessible and safe. All that remains is to build a quarry nearby to harvest the stone. Unlock the production using building small quarry. Build small quarry. Okay. So I want to go here. And then there we go. Produces 5 stone. Produces suitable equipment for your workers. 5 stone, clay, or sand within 150 radius. And nothing specific, but we get some blueprints because I'm sure it's just given them to us so that we can do things. So now we want to go to production, small quarry. We want to build it, I assume, within the space. And there we go. So we're going to build that and collect 50 stone. So one of the other complaints that I've seen, and I don't know that we'll hit it in the tutorial, is that when the ages change, there's some uncomfortable things that happen as far as just the game just suddenly magically changes and things that were going well just aren't going well. And so, again, maybe over time as they work through this, things will change. So it'll be interesting once we're out of the tutorial into a kind of a free game how things work. Alright, so this is where we could, like if we wanted to get rid of fields at some point, we could do that. Alright, we're at 40. We're going to be at 60 soon. Or at 50 soon, which is the goal. There we go. Alright, incidents occur when people's satisfaction levels are too low. There are 4 different types, each with its own negative consequences. This one's fire, but beyond that, I don't know. They might maintain... Okay, each district has a level of risk. When an incident is triggered, it will do so in the neighborhoods with the highest risk. Several factors influence this level of risk. The occupancy rate, the presence of the attrition zone, not the attraction zone, the presence of a factions, and a potential tension. Alright, we talked about hidden resources. Alright, already. Alright, so fires are serious incidents that can spread to adjacent neighborhoods. They last for some time, destroying homes and causing people to leave their homes. Okay. It did seem to have something, but okay. So, put out fires, select a burning neighborhood. Well, we're going to do that quickly. Alright, put out the fire by clicking on the incident button. Where is the oh, I see. Alright, so we need 250 gold coins. Okay, well that seemed to be kinda quick. So we unfortunately couldn't see what was happening up there. Each satisfaction has 7 tiers with cumulative bonuses and malices. I don't know if that means should have been minuses or that's just a word I'm unfamiliar with. A multitude of actions can impact the gain or loss of satisfactions. The more unhappy citizens are, the more incidents are likely to occur. Alright, so here's fires. Fires are a type of incidents. Okay, and this, obviously, sprite equals 48 is a bit of a problem. I assume it should be that. Particularly dangerous, they destroy several homes in a targeted districts, causing the departure of the citizens residing there. These incidents have a fixed duration and can be stopped manually for a fee. Alright, regularly, an incident is drawn to occur to the city. If the satisfactions are high enough, the incident is not triggered. Otherwise, an incident is randomly selected. Okay, so we have fire, epidemic, assault, and theft. Epidemics and fires have a percentage spread, also dependent on the level of satisfactions. All right, citizens have physical and psychological needs that must be met, called satisfactions. Several buildings provide a certain number of satisfactions: cultural buildings, service buildings, and wonders. There are 5 satisfactions: health, safety, belonging, esteem, and creativity. When the level of satisfaction is high, the well-being of population results in cumulative bonuses. Conversely, if citizens are not satisfied, penalties appear and incidents may occur. The list of these different advantages and disadvantages is accessible from the Book of Satisfactions at the bottom right. Oh, I see. Okay. Of the main screen. During the game, you will find other ways to slightly increase or decrease the level of satisfactions of the citizens. Here are examples. Certain decrees, historical events, choices when passing the age. Alright. So satisfying the people. For a city to endure through the ages, the population must have its needs met. The best way to do this is to build cultural buildings whose functions will satisfy a certain number of inhabitants. In other words, the more your population grows, the more needs you'll have to satisfy. So we want to unlock a cultural building, place the building. Now let's see, satisfactions. Okay, so it looked like this is not the screen I saw. But, alright, so there's a lot of unsatisfied citizens in health, it looks like. Alright, so go here, cultural, ceramic workshop. In some regions, the artistic quality is so impressive that their ceramics are worldwide renowned. Mainly vases and amphorae, they also include jugs, craters, lotrophos, and aribaios. So 500 attractions, so people will build around it, so that's probably good to know. It's going to do 250 health satisfactions and 100 of some that I don't know, I guess. So we're going to unlock this. It looks like we're in the Antiquity Age. I didn't realize that was even down there. So we have production, military, religion, education, commercial, and politics. Alright, so lots of options. Okay, place a building. And again, we're going to get told where to place it. Where is it? Oh, are we going to get told where to place it? I guess not. It just must not be on road. Okay. Well, I don't want to put it in the trees, so I guess I'll put it there. Alright. The first ceramic workshop of your reign has been built. Choose the additional satisfactions on which the building should take effect. The values will be fixed for each occurrence. Note that the strength of the satisfactions chosen depends on the order in which you select them. Alright, so we can do safety for the development of the city, and is mainly brought by military. So we currently have a score of 408 out of 104. That seems high. Belonging is the watchword for religious buildings. Esteem is a very strong will in a developed city. And last satisfaction, creativity is essential if you want your city to endure through the ages. Well, so it sounds like that might be a good one. So let's do that. And ceramics, creativity, they seem to go hand in hand. Not sure how long I'm going to keep this first episode going. I would like to think that I could get through the tutorial, but there may be a ton. I'm also trying to keep an eye on when the age changes. Okay, wanderers. The more your population is satisfied, the more the wanderers will enter your city. They consume food and can be integrated into the population through various systems, becoming workers. Alright, so let's see. They build their own houses, forming districts, following the most attractive areas in your city. You may gain citizens during specific historical events, but none will ever leave. Okay, we knew that, with the exception of very rare incidents. Workers are equal. Okay. Wanderers are the last type of people you might encounter. They are disadvantaged residents looking for opportunity who live on the streets. They will join your city by following the satisfactions of the population. The happier your citizens will be, the more your city will attract wanderers. Wanderers consume food and cause incidents. They're not counted in the total satisfactions. They can be integrated and placed on the districts. So there's a placeholder for wanderers. Subject to building and using the Master Builder's Office, Middle Ages. After a few cycles, they will become workers. Okay, preventing famine. When the people are satisfied, it attracts many people, including wanderers. Should your inhabitants run out of food, various famines could occur. To avoid this situation, you can upgrade your existing farms to hire more workers and produce more food. Alright, so we want to open the buildings tree. You know what, let me go back and read this. Unlock level 2 of the small farm. Select small farm, upgrade small farm, collect 100 food. Okay, So production, so I assume I click on that level. Okay, so the gain will be 15 foods per field. So we need all those blueprints. All right, and then I assume now we can go here. Okay, so I need, what, 100 wood. So I'm waiting on wood to get collected is what I'm doing here. All right, so people are building near this. The building is an attraction of 500, which seems pretty substantial. Now, what are these? Okay, production cultural points. So there's definitely some complexity here that happens pretty quickly, and I think that's going to be part of the fun of this, is just trying to understand how everything works. All right, so the small farm, several buildings. Okay, under construction to level 2. Produces 75 food per cycle, 5 fields linked to the farm. So there we go. We're upgrading that. Wait, what's on fire? Homes were... Oh, I see. So citizens remote... Homes were destroyed and citizens moved elsewhere. Remaining 5 cycles. So I'm assuming it's that. Alright, reserves. Some buildings have global or individual reserves. So yeah, we went from 200 to 300. If a resource reserves is full, its production is interrupted until it is enlarged. Okay, well that makes sense. So, management and expansion of reserves is also one of the specialties of the production culture. There are several ways to increase the number of slots in the reserve. Improving town centers increases the global reserve. Improving and constructing production buildings increases the reserve of the selected resource. Building and the service buildings of the culture, production horium, increases the global reserve. If you exceed reserve capacity, the affected production buildings will stop working until the location is available. If this case occurs, the workers assigned to the building will become available again for new tasks. It is not necessary to have buildings providing storage locations near buildings that produce resources. So once again, buildings providing storage locations seem to indicate that there's warehouses. Service buildings allow the full potential. The horium can be used to analyze and manage resource production, while some can be used to trade with the outside world. All right. So unlock the services building horium, build horium, open the resource management panel. Okay, so service, horium. It's a large storehouse. I don't know why they say there isn't a warehouse, but okay. Of great importance to the city's management and survival. It contains mainly foodstuffs and building materials, which are sorted and organized and protected for the elements. So again, it has some attraction. It looks like it adds 450 to the stock. We're going to be able to add multiple satisfactions. So now that we know these question marks are choices we can make, and the building can only be constructed once during the game. Okay, so yes, there's a limit, but you do get that opportunity. So service, horium. Why is it not letting me? Oh, do I don't have enough wood. So even though I feel like I'm going really slow because I'm worried that the reading and so forth, I mean, again, I'd obviously have to read to myself if I wasn't sharing this with you. So you can see, you know, there's buildings coming up and things are growing. All right, so we can do the horium, and let's see. Buildable area, attraction, doesn't really show an attraction. All right, buildable area, I'm going to put it across the road over there. Let's see, okay, so if I'm like halfway out, but yeah, the suggestion is to always put things as far as you can. Alright, first horium, choose additional satisfactions. And like they said, it does change based... Okay, so belonging, safety, esteem. think esteem would make a lot of sense. I'm still thinking creativity would be important. I don't know. I'm going to go with creativity. Might be a bad choice, but... Right, now I'm also curious. Yeah, it's the things do change as it builds. So if you are watching it, but yeah, the zoom out, because you're not doing a lot, and I am on a high setting. There's an ultra setting, which they said you should have a higher graphics card for. Okay, so if I click on this, I see open panel. So there we go. Ancient storage. Always paying attention to all production buildings can be tedious. The Horium summarizes all their status and information to make city management easier. Alright, so ancient storage. Alright, so service buildings. They have a weak attraction but grant a lot of satisfactions. Unlike cultural buildings, they do not degrade during age changes, even if they cannot be evolved, nor unlocked and built outside their historical period. In antiquity, the Horium allows you to build, manage city resources and city reserves and building the production while building a large storage capacity. The Mausoleum allows you to open trade routes in order to exchange resources. The Senatus allows you to vote on decrees which will impact the life of the city for a short defined time. In the Middle Ages, the House of Grievances is a sequel to Senatus and allows people to vote decrees to specific political authorities. The Library allows you to gather and use different know-how which will impact the lives. The Belfry allows you to use army points collected through military actions to increase the city's defenses. Master Builder's Office allows you to modify urban planning rules. The Belfry will not be available at the start of early access. Okay. And then in the Renaissance, the Magnus Concilium is the sequel to the House of Grievances and the Senatus. The Palais du Négoce is the continuation of the Mausoleum and allows you to obtain and to manage different colonies. And then in the Age of Enlightenment, Parliament is the sequel to the Magnum Concilium. And then they have some problems with House of Grievances and Senatus color. The Royal Collection is the continuation of the library, allows you to earn more know-how. The Office of Royal Architects is the continuation of the Master Builder's Office. It allows you to sanitize neighborhoods and make them safer. So now we know the 4 ages. So we have Antiquity, Middle Ages, Renaissance, and the Age of Enlightenment. All right, and then ancient storage. All the buildings that produce or transform resources are listed and can be sorted using the various filters. All clear means the building is working perfectly. It produces and transforms resources thanks to the workers. In demolition indicates that the building is no longer producing as it is being destroyed. In improvement shows the building is temporarily no longer producing as it is undergoing work to be improved. The building will return to normal once it's complete. Storage full implies the building is no longer producing momentarily as the reserves of the resource produced are full. Various workers are still assigned to the building and are no longer working. The building will return to normal. All right, the Horium also lets you see which buildings are supplying reserves and in what quantities. What's more, the service building lets you pause or run production buildings from its interface, upgrade them, or search for them in the city using specific shortcuts. All right, so let me open this panel so it's all clear. All right, so I can pause. So that's kind of what it was talking about here. And so production per cycle. And let's see, wood, stone. All right, others. So we can do that. Now how do I do all? Do I just... Okay, so you just click the wood twice or something. All right, and then it kind of shows what kind of improvement we can do, I suppose. All right, we'll figure that out as we go along. Factions trust. Factions ask you to settle in neighborhoods of the same culture. They bring several advantages, such as a yield of gold coins and culture points. Bonuses and penalties may apply depending on their trust. All right, so welcome to neighborhoods. Or welcome factions, I'm sorry. As neighborhoods become more populated, factions move in to represent the residents. Factions provide significant advantages, the main ones being the generation of culture points and the ability to pay taxes. And then it has it in French. So the two languages you can play the game in are English and French. So maybe this should have been kept in the French side, but I know a little bit of, but it's for the interest in a faction. The people, courtiers assess people of interest in the faction. I don't know. I'm not going to try to use my minimal French. So we're going to select the colored bubble above the neighborhood or wait for the countdown to end and manually accept faction 1. All right, let me just go take a peek. Let's see what else we have, because these do seem... If a quarter of the districts in your city are blocked by factions, there's a coup d'etat, and your family is deposed. There's the end of the game. Well, that's a critical point to know. There are special requirements and can come into tension with adjacent factions. They have a trust level towards you. When it is high, positive events can be triggered, but when it is too low, the faction can secession and block access to the district. Alright, factions' trust can vary depending on the proposal of decrees, the construction of their favorite or hated buildings, the level of cultural influence, certain event choices, friction with another faction, taxation. The factions trust in your actions change certain parameters. The probability of support degrees, the sale and purchase of trade routes, the cost of repairing cultural buildings is influenced by the average trust of factions of the same culture. In return, factions generate the culture points and can be taxed to bring you gold. The level of taxes impacts the trust they have in you. Alright, so select the colored bubble. I see. So Delights of Mithra is at the gates of your city. Dido has been head of the Sodalites of Mithra for several cycles now. The secret group dedicated to the eponymous god is renowned for the talented craftsmen it houses. The men who work here create marvels from raw materials. If you accept them, this faction will occupy an available area in your city. So let's see. The faction produces these resources. 5 cultural points between 0 and 1 depending on the imposed. On installation, this faction grants 25 cultural influence. The faction likes Krushkonian and Sisi Dimatra. Effect +1 when built. Okay, so we'll see what those... And they hate Mysterium and Spices Trade. Factions from different cultures may already be present in your city. Alright, each satisfaction... Alright, we saw that. It has 7 tiers and so forth. Alright, cultural influence represents the way the outside world perceives you. The higher it is, the more you can unlock one-off or cumulative bonuses throughout the game. Alright, so cultural influences. Cultural radiance maps out how leaders perceive your value. Depending on the various actions performed during the game, the cultural radiance gauges can increase, unlocking exclusive bonuses. The more levels you pass each age, the greater the bonuses. There are some very specific bonuses. Each age unlocks a passive for building wonders to facilitate their construction, simplified unlocking faster construction. Some levels also give gold coins. Here are the actions that will influence cultural radiance. Unlock a building or level in the buildings tree. Gives you 15 points. Construct a service building 100. Construct cultural 20. Build a wonder 250. Evolving a cultural building 25. Improve city center 50. Has an active decree for 1 cycle as a point. Accept a faction 25 points. Having a faction intention negative 0.1 points. Discovering a ruin 20 points. Investing 1 point in culture. Factions trust. Oh, we already covered this. It just... Okay. Alright. So cultural influence, I see. Each point you earn increases your city's cultural influence on the rest of the world. So we have 1, I guess, of 31. The greater your cultural influence, the more the best architects of their time will want to settle here, impacting your history for centuries to come. Each faction that arrives in the city will have its base trust increased by 0%. Decrease in blueprint needed to unlock the wonders, 0%. So, I see. So I can... Oh, I'm confused. So how do I know how many of these I have? Or is it... I see 290. Alright, cultural radiance represents your city's impact on the rest of the world. The higher it is during the age transition, the more powerful the bonus is obtained for the following age or until the end of the game. So let's see. Okay, so I think we already read this one. Okay, so I want to invest 20 cultural points. So, okay, that's just the building tree. Just trying to get familiar. And then this, okay, that's the Horium. Trying to get familiar with the buildings. Alright, is this scoreboard? The items can, so when added together, they determine your city's level of influence. Alright. So, like, can I go all the way up? Like, I don't understand. Because right now, like, in theory, I have enough points for this. It would seem like, why wouldn't I do these things? Because they said the higher the things are, the better. So I'm going to do that. Alright, Codex. The Codex contains a wealth of diverse information on many aspects of the game. It can be accessed at any time during the game, but its pages can only be unlocked at specific moments, allowing you to follow the progress of the game. Okay, so Codex. Reference to game mechanics. If, however, a point has been omitted, a community Discord is available to you in the main menu of the game. Okay, to see progress. So I assume this whole thing is the Codex. Oh, end of tutorial. Several cycles have passed since you first set foot on this island. Now you're ready to embark on your real journey, which will be longer and harder, filled with obstacles and dangers from within your walls and outside your city. But it will also be a thrilling adventure, and we hope one of constant wonder. Welcome to Memoriapolis. Alright, so, it works out. It's about an hour that we've been in here. Initial impressions, decent. It's early access. Literally the games have been out for hours. One of the things, as people have said, and I'll definitely be bringing more things to the channel. I'll take a look at playing a game and going in there. Complexity certainly seems to increase pretty quickly. There seems to be a lot of depth and so forth. It's just a matter of how do the mechanics all work together, and does it feel like you're suddenly forced to do a certain task all the time, and then other tasks seem too simple, or so forth. But, I was thinking we would get to wonders and things like that, but we didn't even get that far in the tutorial. But that helps us out. I'm looking at this. Maybe that's a leaf from some tree that I can't see. It's like, I thought it was something in the cloud, but maybe it's just a leaf and the light and so forth. And so I'm assuming, again, given how this is built and so forth, like this is supposed to be, Rome, Italy, Greece, whatever. I mean, you've got like Colosseum-like buildings and so forth, cathedrals that look a little bit like a mini Notre Dame. So, I'm unfamiliar. I didn't really look at the studio. It's 5 PM Studios. I don't know if they're French, which would make sense for English and French. It could be Canadian. Maybe they're in Quebec, English and French. Just curious. It doesn't honestly matter. But I'll definitely take a look. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try to get this out pretty quickly. I'm not really going to put it in cycle to take a spot or whatever. So I'll probably just toss this out there because there's not a whole lot of editing I'm going to do. It was just kind of a live stream of consciousness type of video. But that gets things out there for people, and more importantly, lets people know that this channel is looking at this potential sim. I don't know. That's the thing. This might be on the periphery of sim. There's people that have called this more a puzzle game than a city builder. I see that a little bit, but not necessarily. So right now I wouldn't agree with that assessment, but that may change over time. But it's important for stuff like this when they're new. Please like this if you enjoy it, because it'll help people know, hey, there's a channel out there jumping on this Memoriapolis thing pretty quickly, and that'll get some more folks here. And if you're not a subscriber, just so you can see what's going on and make it easier to find, I encourage you to do that as well. All those things help the channel. Obviously, comments help as well. Join the Discord, do some chatting there. Got a small group. We're getting close to 100 members on the Discord, so that's a milestone in and of itself. But again, I'm pretty much me and one other person have been chatting, but other than that, everybody's joining, and they'll ask a question maybe when they join. A lot of people joined for TS3 Assistant for Tower Simulator, want to know where to find it, and I tell them where to find it, and then don't hear much. So would be good to get an active community going. But with that said, I will see you next time.